Or is there anything you want to say that I've left out?
Oof, what have I not said?
Oh, hold on. Wait. I know I did a pattern shot, but I'm going to cut it and put this first.
Yes, go ahead.
Comedy.
Yes.
Dude, how can we leave on comedy? Comedy. Let's talk about your comedy, because you're a full blown out stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
Doing impressions.
I will honestly say, man, like it's so, you know, I've been doing comedy since 2011. Some friends of mine, two friends of mine, Chilu and Alinani, started something called Straight Up Stand Up. So, and I'll tell you where it climaxes, because, you know, I don't do comedy as much as I used to, but like it all had a great, and I'll tell you why, what happened. So we started with me, so they said Chilu was a good friend of mine. Him and I, we talk about so much, from theology to what, but we laugh so much. So Chilu calls up me and says, dude, bro, you're the funniest guy I know. Like, why? We're doing this comedy thing. Would you like to do it? So I said, okay, cool. So I went for it. And
had you done it before?
Huh?
Had you done it before?
No, I had never done stand-up.
Jeez.
So we tried it, and it was working, and people loved it. So eventually, when Straight Up Stand-Up stopped, they're the ones that even brought Trevor Noah into the country at one point. So it was a big brand. So when they stopped, there was another one. So some of the guys, the comedians, we started this thing called Night of Laughter. It's an event called Night of Laughter. So we started circuiting like the whole country. So it was cool. Like, away from music, I would travel with these comedians, and it didn't matter. And one of the best things is I never took my musical fame and put it to comedy, because I felt it was a whole different thing.
Yep.
So I would start, or I'd be in the middle, I'd close the show. When they say, hey, Abel, you're going first, or Abel, you're going, oh, cool, great. And a lot of times with the audience, it was always like, Abel,
let's wait and see.
Let's see. And
then they die.
Yeah. Then eventually you have this following. When you get on stage, people start chanting an old joke of yours, and now you've got your fans in the audience.
Yeah.
So it reached a point where, coming from 2011, I had realized that I'd done it longer than most of the guys in my team, and all of the guys in my team actually. So
and they are full-time comedians.
And they're full-time. They do comedy as well, yeah. But some of them like engineers and whatnot. So we'll come together and do comedy. So now the thing is, a lot of times, like, comedy's it's become a Facebook online thing. TikTok, everybody's a comedian.
Yeah.
So people are like, if we didn't see you on Facebook, then you don't exist. Then you don't, So I reached a point where I felt like I wanted to do a special. Because I was watching the guys in the States, and I'm just like, I want to do a special. Like, when you do so much comedy, you want to grab all your material and just do it in one show. Otherwise, when people come for a show, something like, yeah, but we heard that joke. You know what I'm saying? You don't know who hasn't heard what new joke and what. So I want to do it in one special so I can start new material. So I started requesting for that. So I stopped doing comedy for like a bit. So then there was something called the Ngoma Awards. So Ngoma Awards had a category, Best Comedy. And I didn't know that the team submitted my material. And what ended up happening was that material ended up making it to top 3.
Yo.
And the adjudicators were now like veteran comedians, like legit guys who've done some amazing stuff, like well respected all around Africa and different things. So then they said, you know what, this is top 3. So when I found myself nominated against my 2 other guys, I was like, yo, I've been nominated. I felt privileged, but then at the same time, I felt like I'm not gonna win. These are the guys that are gonna win.
Yeah.
So when it was known that I was nominated, still a lot of people like, Abel Chungu, Musuka is a comedian, Abel's a comedian. Then, so I realized that comedy is a lot like theater. If you don't go to theater, you'll never know the actors on the theater stage. But in that world of theater, people who go to plays, they'll be like, oh, this guy's amazing.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? When you hear the name Lin-Manuel Miranda, like, not, if you don't know theater, sometimes you wouldn't know who he is, but it's that kind of thing. So I felt like comedy was the same thing. If you don't go to comedy shows, you would never know who the comedians are, because these are actual shows you have to be at to watch them. So people were like, hey, that's comedy. So people didn't think too much of it sometimes. But my fans is all I can say. So I'm at the awards and I'm talking to the other two guys who are nominated, who are friends of mine as well. And I say, guys, if any one of us wins, we're gonna go up and support each other. Cool. So I'm thinking, you know, and in my mind, I have one of them who I think, this guy's gonna win, you know, and then I just hear the winner is Abel Chungu Musuka. Now imagine one of my friends is one of those execs at a TV station called Movie TV. So they have this Facebook page called Ask Movie TV. And I don't know that he also manages it, right? So I go on stage. I have no speech. I don't remember what I said. But it was very brief because I didn't expect it. So I go backstage and I'm like, oh, I got the award. And I sit down and his prize, bro. He says, I just posted that you've won. Man, have you ever seen like 400 comments a second? Like, oh, what? So it was just like, there was so much. Like, what? Abel, how? What? Jokes about it, memes about it. So after all, I wasn't affected, really.
Yeah.
After a while, I just posted. So I just started to taunt people. I just wrote, because I'm a Real Madrid fan.
Yeah.
So at the time, I think Messi had won Ballon d'Or. Yeah. So I just wrote, I'll return it when Messi wins. When Messi returns his Ballon d'Or, and people are like, oh, you now all of a sudden people are annoyed and insulting you, whatnot. And I'm just laughing. So my friend HK, who was one of the first comedians I started with, he calls him. He's like, boy, I've got a plan. I'm like, what? He says, we're gonna do a show, but we're gonna challenge you. Are you ready as the Zambian people? I'm like, for real? He's like, yeah, we're gonna challenge you as the Zambian people to see if you're funny. So he's like, but we'll organize a show. I'm like, cool, let's do it. So he wrote this whole write-up where the Zambian people challenge you, Abel Chungu Musuka. So some people call him like, Abel, that's bait. If you want it, man, take it. So I responded with, so he even sent camera guys to my house, took pictures, made a poster, and I posted up. He said, what are you going to call the thing? I said, rumor has it. So I called it rumor has it. And so they make the artwork.
That's such a good publicity.
The first thing I just posted was challenge accepted. And I posted the poster. Oh man, the hype started. It was actually accepted in the comedy channel. Oh my God. And then one of the legends, one of the adjudicators, he stood on. He's like, listen, I believe Abel's a great comedian. I'll even open for him. Then the other two guys that was nominated again, they said, cool, we'll do it as well. So now imagine, you've got the show, man. You have a legend comedian who is arguably the best. Then you have the two guys you're nominated against going up before you. I'm sitting back there, and I can honestly tell you, Richard, I have never been more calm in my life.
Calm?
Yes. If I tell you like when God was there, I've never been more calm. I wasn't nervous.
Yeah.
I'm just like, it was just God. Like, I wasn't nervous.
I'm nervous for you here.
I was going through my jokes. Yeah. Even with the team, like I was just, everyone's like, how are you? I'm like, I'm good. When I was backstage, I was just backstage, quiet. Everyone was coming like, are you? And Magnus was telling me, he's like, bruh, he says, when every comedian was going up, I was just like, oh my God, my boy. My boy. Like, it's like, I knew you were funny. But I was just like, my boy, what's going to happen, my boy? So, there was a joke, there was some meme I had made when I stopped making memes after that. I stopped because I felt like I'll never make fun of someone I'm not saying to their face. Okay. So I'd made a meme of the mayor. One time, he had gone to a prison with a Santa hat. So I said, I'm broke, so I'm gonna show my kids this picture and tell them Santa's been arrested. So it went viral. And so I felt bad because someone was like, oh, the mayor saw that, he wasn't too happy about it, he was asking, so I had to tell him like, you're a comedian. So I was like, what? I'm like, I felt bad because I was like, I don't bully, make fun of people. So then somebody told me, the mayor is here, like he's in the audience. I'm like, the mayor is here? Like, yeah. So I said, oh, cool. So I went up on stage And like when this music starts, I'm like, I was like, first of all, like I'm gonna take a selfie because this might be the last time you guys are happy with me. So people start laughing. I said, where's the mayor? I said, I want to apologize. And I explained about the meme. Then I said, we often say things we don't mean. Now, I'll leave it at that point. When I say, we often say things we don't mean. Now, during his campaign, right? One of the things he campaigned on and just kept on emphasizing was that our city was gonna get free Wi-Fi. That Wi-Fi never came. So I said, we often say things we don't mean. I mean, you did promise us free Wi-Fi. And everybody's like, oh! And after that, I did not let that go. I was on everything from them, because what we do is we have national mourning. Whenever there's national mourning, every radio station just plays gospel music. And so I was kind of talking to, because I'd invited some radio stations. I said, guy, listen, like we don't make music for widows. like only time you're gonna pull out our music is during national mourning. We need to talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't go to the studio and tell Mac like, yo, I got this hot jam for them widows, bro. And so man, we went in on like, oh man, I talked about because you know growing up and I'm just like. I talked about, about weed. I talked about like avoiding, like it was
what is it about
so
weed?
many things. I was talking about how weed affects different people. And true story, my mom's younger brother got so high one time with my uncle.
Yeah.
And he started asking my brother, because my nephews were playing, and he started asking him, like, Musuka, like, what color are the kids? So my brother's like, what do you mean? It's like, that one is looking green, that one is looking orange. So then I talked about like weed affecting different people from different cultures. I talked about like my wife, because she's mixed, so the people like calling them colored. So I started using like a colored accent. Guy, like my wife's cousins, like the way they get high, and the things that they say like are quite ridiculous. Yeah. Then I also talked about dining with white people. I was like, have you ever been invited for food with white people? Like, it's a trap. Yeah. Like, get your own money, first of all. Because like white people invite you, it's like, oh, we're gonna go out for dinner, so like, you should come out. And I said like, white people have two different views of food. It's either like really awesome, or it's disgusting. There's just like there's no between. It's like, you have to try this, it is so awesome. And then it's like, oh, that's so disgusting. So then, now what happened was, so now what happened was like, you go out for dinner, and they'll be telling you to try everything, because remember, it's awesome. Yeah. Like, have you tried the steak here? Have you tried the enchiladas? And you're there like ordering everything, because remember, you're African. They invited you. Now remember, in our culture, if I invite you pay. Yeah. But then they do this thing at the end of dinner, like when everything is done, all of a sudden just like, all right, so we got the bill here. Who had the steak? And who had the, so now you're just like, it was you know what I'm saying? Then you realize that everyone else was on budget eating but you. Yeah. And you're the only one who's like leaving with like a $75 meal. Or everybody leaves like, here's my $5. Like, but meanwhile everybody was telling you to try everything. I'm like, it's a trap. Carry your own money. Yeah, man.
So what was the reception of the show?
It got a standing ovation. I posted up on my channel the last joke, because the last joke was about elections, and I compared it to Wakanda. About like if you watch the movie Black Panther, like this is the most technologically advanced nation in the whole world in that Marvel universe, and they pick their leaders through a fist fight. I'm like, why don't we just try that? You know what I'm saying? Like, just have two guys train all year, 5 years, and then we can all meet at Vic Falls. And whoever wins is the leader of the country. Cool.
Okay, I encourage you guys. You need to be able to vote. But here's the thing that I tell you, like, I just feel like we've spent so much, especially in the past couple of years, we've spent so much money on elections. Elections are very expensive. They take from our taxpayers. They are very expensive. So, I suggest that we have a new alternative to elections, okay? How many of you guys have seen the movie Black Panther? Yep. You're getting it, right? You're getting the vibe, right? For those of you guys who don't know, right? So, Black Panther is this fictional, very, very advanced nation called Wakanda, right? And there's this wonderful scene where they're selecting the leader of Wakanda, right? In this movie called Black Panther. And they show up by this place that looks like Vic Falls. And as soon as T'Challa, who's like the protagonist, he's like the main character, shows up, you know, you've got this guy who gives him this medicine. He's like, drink this, and he takes it. He's like, then all of a sudden, like, all his powers are gone, and he says, the powers of the Black Panther have now been stripped away. So, right? Then, like, all the tribes are standing by the wall. All the represented tribes are there. And so they're all of these tribes, and now, like, who can now challenge for this position of power? And all the tribes are responding, we, as the River Kingdom, will not contest the throne. Oh, okay, cool, great. Goes to the next person. And we, from the people of the south, will not contest. And it keeps going on and on and on, till it gets to this point. All of a sudden, they hear this noise. MPESA! Ooh, ooh. MPESA! Ooh, ooh. And this dude, big buff guy, who does not like T'Challa, shows up. And then everyone goes, Mbako, what are you doing here? And his next words, he goes, it's challenge day. And so he starts putting down his manifesto. We are voiced from the mountains as your technological advancements have been run by a child. And they get into this argument, and then eventually he was about to challenge, and T'Challa goes, I accept your challenge, M'Baku. And they have this big fight right by the river. Boom, 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 boom. And T'Challa beats up M'Baku. And guess what? Just by that fight, he becomes the leader of Wakanda and the Black Panther. All I'm saying is, we spent a lot of time making songs, traveling constituencies, you know, commanders and all these other titles that people give, you know what I'm saying? Why don't we just have two guys hit the gym between now and 2021, right? And the only time we're seeing like clips of them, like, is like them like really grafting, like, oh, President ECL is working really hard for 2021. And then, you know, I just really think, then all of a sudden, boom, 2021 arrives, we're there. It's September, October, whatever month is picked, right? And then all of us go to like to Livingston because that's like the closest thing. So we all show up there like, oh man, this is ZNBC's live, streaming live. Guess what? Oh, okay, cool. And everybody's watching. And then all of a sudden it starts. Irene Mambirima shows up, right? Makes the president drink something. And now the instruments of power have been stripped away, right? Next thing, then they start like asking all the other guys up there, right? Right, Shahad? NDC will not challenge today, right? Skips over to the next guys. You know what I'm saying? I, Elias Chipima of Nareb, will not challenge today, right? Skips over MMD. We as MMD, although we believe it's right and integrity in order to fight, but we will not challenge today, right? And then you just hear one guy steps up. Hi, Alex Mulyoka. I will not challenge today. Hey, boss, no. You're not even on the running, right? So everybody's like, oh, yeah, ooh, it's a clean sweep. It's one, easy, 2021, woo! Then all you just hear is like, Meza, hey. Meza, hey. Meza, hey. And everybody's like, oh no, Hakainde, what are you doing here? It's challenge day. My name's Abel Chungu Musuka. Thank you so much, you guys. God bless you.
Yeah, but it was good. So they just the comparisons of how they did the imitations and the home Bakwa and the Chala coming to it was so I got a standing ovation at the end. And
guys were like, okay, you got your stripes.
Yeah, it was fun.
That's crazy.
Fun, yeah.
So now what do you mean? So now you like, I'm done with it.
I feel like I want it to I personally want to create a documentary out of it.
Okay.
I'd rather turn it into a documentary and then air it in that sense, like telling the whole story of what it was like starting from comedy. The rejection that people got and then the build up to what it became. And then after that, I want people then to create their bookings based off that. You know what I'm saying? Like kind of like the way Trevor Noah's Daywalker, blew. It was from that. People were like, oh, the Daywalker. I mean, by the time Trevor came to Zambia, the guy could just say anything and people were laughing. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to go through that whole experience of, is he funny? Let's see if is he funny? You know what I'm saying? I feel like I want that material to go out and people to
But
share it.
Did you enjoy the stage time? Or did you feel like it was, because you see you've been on stage before, giving people value through inspiration, through, I don't want to say God, because even in the comedy it's still God, just in a different packaging. So what, as a performer, because you're just now in a different performance.
It is one of the hardest things to
make people laugh.
Not even just make people laugh. So, you're conditioned again to ask yourself, am I at the right place? Because again, when you're doing the Christian music, you get on a stage, kind of like people are already crying, they're worshiping God, at that moment. But then when you're doing comedy, you have to be good. You know what I'm saying? They don't care who you are or whatnot.
Okay,
are you funny? If you're not funny, I'm not gonna laugh for you. So it was kind of like, in one genre, you're really good. You've proven yourself. Now you're going into something else from scratch. And there's already a sense of skepticism. There's some skeptics who are just like, are you funny?
In fact, you're not
Show
funny.
me
This
you're
guy's
funny.
just trying to,
you know what I'm saying? I know people who came there just to see me fail. I know people who literally shut up like, he's gonna bomb. And then I didn't. So it was that sense of, there's always that, and you have to be great. So again, it comes back down to the lessons that I learned from, you just can't be good. So I didn't want to, I didn't want to just be good. I really realized I needed to be really good at what I do. I just didn't want to be, I needed to be really funny. So it's almost like it's harder, but it's worth it at the end of it, So that's how big it was. Challenging, of course, because people have an expectancy. People have like, oh, I know, but it was. I enjoyed it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay, dude. We'll talk for another 50,000 years. For me, I just want to say, first and foremost, again, to you, thank you so much for. I mean, I asked you, but I also asked you to come via Pompey, and you didn't even hesitate. You just came. And this is the second time you've done this when I've even come. Just drop what you're doing. I'm like, I'll need you for the whole day. You're like, no, are you serious? Look at it, it's dark now. Yes, I needed you for the whole day. I'm sure about it. So thank you. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless your wife. Just God bless your career. and whatever it is that he has called you to do.
Thanks.
May he guide your steps. May he be with you, protect you, and just laugh with you throughout this journey. May he continue to be your father. That's so deep when I've understood father's child. Like that one has, it's one of my biggest takeouts from this conversation. So anyway, look into the camera and give a parting shot to anybody who may be watching. If you're listening to my voice, go and stream Abel's music. It is on all all platforms. It is there. So definitely go and stream the platform.
Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hey, thank you so much, guys, for taking the time to actually watch all of this. I can really only say there's something that one of my lecturers, Doug Jones, who doesn't like to be called the favorite, but he said, love is joyfully choosing to take an action that promotes the welfare of another. I love doing this music. I love impacting people. I love people's lives being changed. Even at my worst, I still want to make the best music that I can so that people can have the best lives, because life doesn't slow down for anybody. But while we're here for a purpose, and we're here for a reason, and God's always got a plan. So love you guys. Remember, it's all about Jesus.
Don't hang up. Don't leave.
Don't leave me.
One or two things and we are done.
Sure.